The first 3D printer was born in a world of clunky computers and neon leg warmers. Yet it sparked a revolution that is still shaping our future. How did this quirky invention go from sci-fi fantasy to printing everything from rocket parts to chocolate desserts? Stick around to uncover the wild, weird, and wonderful history of 3D printing. Welcome to Objectified, where everyday objects get their moment in the spotlight. Today, we are diving into the fascinating story of 3D printers, those magical machines that turn digital dreams into tangible reality. From their humble beginnings to their role in modern innovation, this is a tale of creativity, persistence, and a few unexpected twists. Let us explore how 3D printing went from a niche idea to a global game changer, with plenty of quirky moments along the way. The story of 3D printing kicks off in the 1980s, a decade known for big hair and even bigger ideas. In 1984, an engineer named Chuck Hull was frustrated. He was working on a way to make plastic parts for product prototypes, but the process was slow and expensive. One night, inspiration struck. What if he could print objects layer by layer using light and liquid resin? Hall called his invention stereolithography, and in 1986, he patented the first 3D printer. This was not just a machine, it was a whole new way of making things. Hall founded 3D Systems, one of the earliest companies to commercialize 3D printing. Early machines were massive, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they were far from user-friendly. Imagine a room-sized contraption that looked like it belonged in a sci-fi movie, humming away to create a single plastic widget. Yet, this clunky start laid the foundation for a manufacturing revolution. By the late 1980s, other pioneers jumped in. Scott Crump developed fused deposition modeling, or FDM. It's used melted plastic extruded through a nozzle. Think of a high-tech hot glue gun. This method became the backbone of most consumer 3D printers today. Meanwhile, Carl Deckard invented selective laser sintering, which used lasers to fuse powdered materials like metal or nylon. Each innovation added a new piece to the 3D printing puzzle. But the technology was still a well-kept secret, used mostly by big industries like aerospace and automotive. Fast forward to the 2000s, and 3D printing started to break free from its industrial cage. A key turning point came in 2005 with the RePrap project, led by Adrian Bowyer in the United Kingdom. RePrap stood for Replicating Rapid Prototyper, a bold idea to create a 3D printer that could print most of its own parts. The goal: make 3D printing affordable and accessible to everyone. By 2008, the first RePrap printer, named Darwin, was born, and its open-source design sparked a global maker movement. Hobbyists and tinkerers started building their own printers, sharing designs online, and pushing the technology forward. This democratization led to an explosion of creativity. Companies like MakerBot and Ultimaker emerged, offering desktop 3D printers that cost less than a high-end laptop. Suddenly, anyone with a computer and a few $100 could print objects at home. The technology also got faster, more precise, and more versatile. By the 2010s, 3D printers could handle materials beyond plastic. Think metals, ceramics, and even food. Yes, food. PancakeBet, launched in 2014, could print edible designs, turning breakfast into an art project. The medical field embraced 3D printing with open arms. In 2011, surgeons used 3D printed titanium implants to rebuild a patient's jaw. By 2019, researchers were bioprinting human tissue, inching closer to printing functional organs. Meanwhile, companies like SpaceX used 3D printing to create rocket parts, proving the technology could handle the extreme demands of space travel. From fashion designers printing runway-ready dresses to architects creating scale models, 3D printing became a tool for dreamers and doers across industries. So, why does 3D printing matter beyond the tech world? It is about empowerment. For the first time in history, individuals could design and create complex objects without needing a factory or a fortune. This shift gave rise to the maker culture, a global community of DIY enthusiasts who share ideas, tools, and creations. Platforms like Thingiverse became digital libraries where anyone could download free 3D models. From phone stands to cosplay props, 3D printing also challenged traditional manufacturing. It allowed for on-demand production, reducing waste and the need for massive warehouses. During the COVID-19 pandemic, makers worldwide used their 3D printers to produce face shields and ventilator parts, proving that small-scale, decentralized manufacturing could save lives. This technology is not just about making stuff, it is about rethinking how we solve problems and build the world around us. On a lighter note, 3D printing brought a sense of playfulness to innovation, from 3D printed fidget spinners to life-size Darth Vader helmets. It gave people a way to express their creativity and geek out over their passions. It is no wonder YouTube channels like Maker's Muse and 3D Printing Nerd exploded in popularity, showcasing the fun and endless possibilities of this tech. Let us sprinkle in some quirky tidbits that make 3D printing's history even more delightful. Did you know the first 3D printed object was a tiny cup? Chuck Hull printed it to test his stereolithography machine, and it is now a museum piece. Or how about this? In 2016, a Chinese company 3D printed an entire house in just 45 days, complete with plumbing and wiring. Talk about speedy construction. Here is a weird one. NASA once mailed a 3D printer to the International Space Station, where astronauts used it to print tools in zero gravity. Imagine printing a wrench while floating in space. And for the foodies, 3D printed chocolate has become a thing, with companies like Hershey's experimenting with custom candy designs. One of the oddest moments in 3D printing history came in 2013 when a group called the Fez distributed 3D printed a working plastic gun, sparking a global debate about the ethics of accessible manufacturing. Love it or hate it, 3D printing has a knack for stirring up conversation and pushing boundaries. The history of 3D printing is a roller coaster of ingenuity, rebellion, and pure fun. From Chuck Hull's light bulb moment in the 1980s to today, S-printers churning out everything from prosthetic limbs to gourmet desserts. This technology has rewritten the rules of creation. It is not just a tool. It is a mindset that says anyone can be a maker. As 3D printing continues to evolve, who knows what wild inventions are next? One thing is certain, the future is being printed, layer by layer, and it is going to be quirky, bold, and absolutely extraordinary. If you loved this deep dive into 3D printing's quirky history, check out our next video on the surprising story of everyday objects, popping up on your screen now. Thanks for joining us on Objectified, where the objects we use tell stories of human creativity. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let us know in the comments. What is the coolest thing you have seen 3D printed? Until next time, keep exploring the world around you.